Thinking about self-publishing and don't know where to start? Join the Spa Girls each week for 30 minutes of honest advice, tips and resources. I'm Trudy J, and I am here with Wendy Vella.
Just a normal hello from me.
Yeah, love that up energy, Trudy.
Shah Barrett.
Hello.
And Cheryl Phipps.
Hi there.
See, Cheryl's the only one who gave me back.
It's going to be one of those days.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Today we are talking about advertising. The advertising we're currently doing and what's working for us, what's not working, just giving a bit of a personal update on the advertising.
An advo chat.
An advo chat.
Oh, I see what you did there.
There you go.
Yeah,
She's the one with the
nice.
marketing kind of.
Yeah.
Full of something, mate. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So
put your own word in there.
So I feel like last episode I started. So I'm feeling like, maybe the next person last time should start, which is Cheryl.
Okay.
So do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing recently?
No problem at all, Trudy.
Awesome. Thanks.
So I've just launched the third book in a series. I did 3 books in 3 months, which I have to tell you, seriously, I did not write 3 books in 3 months. Never going to happen. But I prepared them, a little something I prepared earlier, and managed to get them out just as I said I would, albeit 2 months later than I thought the first book was going to come out. Turns out it was a lot more work involved than I had anticipated, and that was actually okay.
Yeah.
So what I did for the promo for the third book, I did different things for the first 2, but for the third book, I've been using, I've got a bit of a scratchy throat. I've been using written word media to do some promos, series promos, which they started off with earlier this year actually, and I found them worked really well for one of my other series. So I thought I'll give it a go with this one, even though the first book has only actually been out by that stage. Well, I guess it would have been out for the 3 months. And I actually think that these promos work really, really well. The key here is you've got to have at least 3 books. You put the first book up for free, and the second book, if you had more than 3, could be 99 cents. I actually have left the second and third book at full price, which is still only $2.99 at the moment. I tend to put the price of the books up after they've been out a little while. So that's that in a nutshell. And the other thing I've been doing is stacking some ads around them, so some smaller ads, cheaper ads arguably. I have Katie Roy, which is a platform from our mate, was that guy from Kindlepreneur? Was it
Dave Cheeson?
Yes.
No, is it? Are you sure?
Pretty sure it is. No, I don't think so. Okay. Well, anyway, I have this platform which I can put in a free book. Cost me nothing. The initial program I think was very, very cheap, but it cost me nothing, and it sends it to between about 12 and 16 sites. And I only have to log it in once, and then it's done, it's gone. So that's something that I do there. I also put it on the free book on the Facebook sites that I belong to. And the second book, if you've got that at 99, then you can do that as well. And that's about it from me.
How's it been going?
Yeah, good. The first time, or the first couple of times I've done it, which was for 2 other series, did really, really well, because what you're looking at is obviously your first book's a loss leader, but you're looking for the read through in the books. So even if your second book's 99 cents, you're not going to make a heck of a lot of money there. But then if they're reading through, which is what you want, then you're picking up the full price books, and that more than covers the price of the ads. And I've been making a nice little sum on the top of that. So that was the aim, and it's working, and very happy with that. I wouldn't do it. Well, you can't really do it for the same book every month, but I figure if you have, once you get a few series under your belt, you could actually stagger it, and even if you don't, you could put that particular series up maybe in 3 months' time. And I think that because by then they'd have more readers. So that's the theory behind that. Putting it up every month, even if you were able to, actually wouldn't do you any good, because you wouldn't get enough sales read through, because a lot of those people would have already read your book, hopefully.
So how long do you put it for free for? Do you just use your 5 free days?
I'm just using my 5 free days, so it's a limited time.
So that's because you're exclusive to Amazon.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And just for anybody that's wondering, so it's KD, so it's spelt KDROI.com is where you access that site.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ROI as in return on investment.
Yeah.
It's it looks like the same colours as Dave Jason, but I don't know if it actually
not.
is.
It's
Okay.
No. It's them.
Okay. Some other people are doing it. That's awesome. And so something else. Have you been doing anything else? I know that you've been doing book club ads. Do you want to?
I do book club ads. I usually do those for about $20 and ask them to flick that through as quickly as they can. But I have the window open for about 3 to 4 days, and they will often let me know when I've used up all my money, and that's when I'll go in and check how that money has been spent, if it's actually been converting, and if it has, then I might up it again if I'm still within that time frame, because that $20 that can go in a day. Often can go in a day, sometimes 2, and so then I'll add a little bit more on, and if it spends that in that time frame, all well and good, and if it doesn't, that's okay. I can copy the ad and start it up again.
So just to clarify, anybody that's unfamiliar with BookBub, this is the paid advertising, not the featured deals that everybody talks about as scarce as hen's teeth. These are the actual ads that appear at the bottom of the newsletter, and there's one each newsletter, isn't it? There's just the one ad. And so what she's talking about is cost per click advertising, putting your own ad down the bottom of those newsletters and using that budget for that. Sorry, Cheryl, I was trying to cover you.
I know. Thank you for clarifying. Sorry, I keep having to mute.
With BookBub ads, because I haven't actually ever done them, and I'm curious about, so I've heard people talking about doing them just at launches, like to help kind of boost a launch quite often. Is that when you use them, Cheryl, or do you use them other times?
Yeah, I have to say that those are the times that I use them the most, but I actually use them during the rest of the month as well, if I want a little pick-me-up. I mean, I'm advertising my books at full price there. There's no sale. So yeah, it's just a way of keeping my income steady during the month, I find. I mean, they're not always going to work, but often, and because they keep all the stats there for you on your BookBub page, you can look through and you can see which converted really, really well. And then I'll just copy that ad, and I might target a different author. So you can target your category, and you need to target authors as well. So you can do one author at a time, or you could do 2 or 3. So yeah, and it'll tell you if that's a good choice, and the fact of how many people that will reach. So whatever the reach will be, it's got a little dial there. It'll tell you that. So there's lots of little hints there to see if you're going in the right direction. But ultimately, it depends how they convert.
Awesome. That's cool. Okay, is that everything for you, Cheryl?
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously, I share a lot of the stuff with you guys and what you do as well. So
yeah. Okay, who wants to go next? Shah, you're looking at me like you do.
I'll do a quickie. So
by all means, do a quickie.
Yeah, please.
So one of the things I have been running lately for my clients have been auto group ads on Amazon ads. Now, a couple of little things on Amazon ads. You're going to hear the word relevancy come up a lot in conversations online about how successful an Amazon ad is. And there's a lot of people that are ready to beat their heads against a brick wall over them, and I totally get it, because I am kind of in that space too occasionally. But it's what's really crucial before you've even spent a penny on Amazon is to make sure that your keywords are really correct on Amazon, like as in the keywords that you uploaded your book to, you're in the right categories, because Amazon looks at all of those, if you like, the background stuff, and then we'll deliver the ads to the readers that are best looking for those terms, if you like. So it's well worth it spending a little bit of time just making sure that all your back end is right, as they say, without...
But have your back end right, mate. Everything else
crap,
back
end, if you're going to have a
have your
quickie.
back end covered, as it were, before you start going on Amazon ads. So that's why you see that word relevancy around a lot, and that's very much it. But I have found that previously, a couple of years ago, the auto ads didn't really do it for me or do it for my clients' books at all. But I think they've improved a lot. So if you previously had no success with running auto ads, which auto meaning Amazon basically decides what search terms they're going to match your ad to and who to serve it to, as opposed to you putting in manual targeting such as authors in your subgenre or book titles, that kind of thing. They seem to be working a lot better. And then to take it a step further, which actually cuts down a huge amount of time as well of faffing around. First of all, I have found that Amazon ads without text, so the ones that appear on the UK and on Germany, already don't have any ability for you to put in a witty tagline or a selling copy. But Amazon US, you did have that ability, and I have found the ones without text actually outperform the ones that I used to spend hours crafting the perfect 150 characters for, selling that book. And it's like, so again, time is precious. So try some without text and try the group auto ad. And what it is you set it up exactly as you would a standard ad. But you put in a name for the ad group. So you could call it, for example, if I do it for Wendy's, one of Wendy's series, I'd call it the Langley Sisters ad group. And then you can add all the books that fit. I do it by series. So all her Langley Sisters books, all 7 of them in paperbacks, and run it that way. And so no text. And then Amazon decides which book they're showing out of the ones that I've selected for them to show. And it just, those ones seem to be working really, really well. And they're a lot easier to set up. And it also means that you feel like you're covering all your series bases, if you like. And if you might have a stronger cover, as in, by that I mean one that's performing better for you, that if you're only advertising the first in your series, you don't necessarily know, because it could well be book 2 or book 3 that's the one that's attracting people to your ads. So try the group auto ad. I'm going to put it in the show notes, kind of how to set it up, but it's actually super basic. Another couple of pointers is just because you put a high budget on an ad doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get shown more. Amazon is all about relevancy and efficiency, and so I've had ads on a $5 budget outperform ads on a $50 a day budget, just simply because they were better suited, if you like. The relevancy was better. So to try and get Amazon to spend more money that's not gonna, I personally don't think that works. And the other thing is not to put an end date in your campaign as well. I think, again, you're talking to a computer algorithm here, and if you think of it, it's like machine learning, and so by putting an end date in it, often it just will not have time to pick it up. Now, I would caveat all of this with the fact that you have to be prepared to spend money in order to learn these things and to test, and whether it's BookBub, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Facebook, there is a sunk cost in terms of time and money. And I really, in the general terms of advertising, just in generally, for any other businesses, advertising is a sunk cost. You don't necessarily expect to make a return on investment. Authors are the ones that are like, put in $1 and I want to get $2 back. That is incredibly high. So just kind of, bear that in mind.
Nice. All right.
I prefer treating it as a cost of doing business, and then anything you can make on that is a good thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, all righty.
Wendy, you're next.
Oh, thanks, Trudy.
Anytime.
So recently I recovered all my contemporaries because while my historicals are doing very well, my contemporaries are doing averagely well. So someone I know who's very close to me and dear and who I love very much has recovered, done all my covers, Shah. She's a superstar. Anyway,
All
so
your covers
have a look.
we got
all your covers for your Lake Howling series.
Yeah.
Just to clarify
yeah,
that.
Lake Howling. Sorry.
Yeah,
So we did a
contemporary
bit of a check. We did a bit of a, what was selling, what was not, and rah-de-rah-rah. We did some number
Researched,
crunching.
in other
Some
words.
research was the word I was looking for right there. And so then I rewrote all the blurbs and I modernized the blurbs up and made them, I think, probably fit better in with the book, because my blurbs were very traditionally sort of a bit staid. So
with
I changed
some help from your funky daughter, right?
with some help from my funky daughter, who is
so
a lot younger than me,
getting
clearly. Yeah, so
someone
bringing someone younger on board who was able to see things that I didn't. And one of those instances was when Shara and I did covers. And I don't know if we've discussed this, but when we did the covers, Shara and I liked a certain cover that she'd done, but Sophie liked a different one. And that was an
It was
age
just
thing.
pushing us out that much further. Wendy and I both liked kind of the halfway mark into the page.
And she was like, no, nah.
We're like,
Sophie.
So we did that, and so then we thought, oh, well, we need to launch this. We need to get these moving now, get them rocking. And I'm one of those people that's very lucky to get a book most months for historicals, but I can never get a contemporary, and I've hammered and hammered and hammered at them, and I've begged and I've offered them.
Your firstborn children, grandchildren,
like more than that. But still no. So what we did is we sat down.
Damn you, BookBub.
Yeah, we read the campaign. We read the campaign out. There's 7 books in that series, so we took a box set of the first 3. We reduced it down. I did for my 5 3 days. Then we hit Robin Reed's Red Feather Romance, ENT, and a few others. And then I hammered it with Facebook ads. And that book it went really, really well, and actually took over as probably my 3rd highest selling series last month.
So just a point, she's giving away 3 books here, or reduced down to 99 cents.
So for 5 days they were for free, and then I put them up to 99, and then I hammered them again with another set of ads through another 3 or 4 different platforms, and then I also did Facebook advertising on them and I spent a lot of time tweaking those ads. If they weren't working, I pulled them and put another one up and or duplicated and changed. So it was a trial and error thing, and of course I'm instantly swimming in a much bigger pond because of the contemporary side of things as opposed to historicals. But you can definitely see the change, and I think it was also a mindset for me to change the fact that the audience is different, and age group is different, and the way they will see it is different, and that was coming through my kids who were like, they love these books, and well, they have to because I'm their mum, but they do, and so there was that mind shift for me too. So that was.
So can we stop on that for 1 second? So it was a mind shift because you'd written these books that appealed to a younger audience, but your covers and your blurbs were not appealing to those people. And so you looked at that, you researched the market, you talked to your daughter, you did all these things to kind of actually rejig them, and that's been
the books themselves inside, the insides haven't changed. They're still
and
not as though they were.
But I think that's probably a little bit of a trap for young players in this game, is that you have to make a change if it's not working. And I think a lot of us will go, I've been in this game a long time now. I've got quite a few books. I don't know how many out. And I'm still like, if Shah turned around to me tomorrow and said, you need to change this is not working, and she'll tell you this, I will go instantly, right, it'll be done.
You will.
Because that you cannot afford to be precious in this game. I don't think you can afford to be precious.
The one point I want to make about those covers too, sorry, before you to stop that flow, is that those covers, the original covers, were nice covers.
They
were beautiful covers. We all liked the covers. It wasn't that they looked ugly. It wasn't that they were unprofessional.
They were super
really
professional,
good covers.
expensive covers. They were not bad covers.
And it's like one of my favorite covers, the cover I love most in the world, which was on, I had put on a historical, and Shah said to me one day, I just cannot advertise this book, mate. There's too much bare skin and male nipples. I'm sorry, I did say it. But, I love that cover. That cover to me was just everything. I loved it so much. And I had to change it. But because she said to me, I can't advertise this book, I changed it. I don't like the cover as much, but it's what it has to be. And I think you have to take for me, the learning curve, and I'm not going to get all deep in everything, but the learning curve is understanding that when the book gets up there, it's a commodity. You move on to the next thing, and that if you want to sell that commodity, you have to make it the best
and also
and attractive prospect it can be.
Cover taste change as well.
Absolutely.
We need to.
Yeah.
And I think
and the other thing I've been doing is Facebook ads, and so I've been learning Facebook ads for the last sort of 2 or 3 months, and since I started on Facebook advertising, my income has exponentially climbed. Climbed.
So people are sitting there saying now, or listening to this saying, how did you learn how to do Facebook ads?
Well, it's a very interesting thing. I'm not and Trudy's going to roll her eyes. I'm not a great sit down and learner through books and stuff like that. It's just not my jam, and I just can't do it, and I get very bored. So what I do is I take the best bits from a lot of things. So I have Mark Dawson's course. I have Melissa Storm's course. I have we've had
Trudy sat down with you airport in Houston.
Yeah. Trudy sat down and she's helped me. Maria Lewis, her 2 podcasts, I listen to those religiously on Facebook ads. There's a whole lot of
on Spa Girls podcast. Shout out.
A whole lot of things. And then if I'm struggling, I'll just text Trudy and say, you need to come on and have a look at my screen and tell me what's going on. I mean, and I've found through that process of elimination, when I had a wall, rather than me learning everything at the get-go, it just hasn't worked. When I had a wall, I'll go and learn about it, and I'll go in and go, okay, well, I'll take that from there and that from there. But anyway, the Facebook ads are working, slowly getting them ticking over, learning to sort of get raise them. What's that word? Make them better, put more money on them, increase the budgets and stuff. So yeah, for me, I think that's been a real learning curve. Facebook ads has changed everything.
That's awesome.
End of story.
Yeah.
The end.
And can I just say too that I think a good takeaway from that is that you picked up different bits from different sources in terms of it, and not one course or not one person, including us, has the exact right answers for every single author, because what works even within the same subgenre. I mean, we're talking contemporary romance, and there's such a wide range depending on whether it's a royal contemporary romance, whether it's a, that small town.
It's how you learn too. Who you respond best to.
Yeah.
Who can teach you and you want to learn. And that's another thing. Anyway, Trudy.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Facebook ads that I've been doing as well. And I kind of want to reiterate that, Mark Dawson has the course, and I've done every single lesson in his course. I've read it all, I've taken notes, and I set up a lot of stuff in based on what he says in his course, and it was fantastic and it worked really well. But there are definitely things that I think work, for example, for his thriller market that don't work for me in urban fantasy. And on the same way, I've done Skye Warren, who does she calls it dark romance, kind of contemporary romance, I guess. And she does a certain setup that she talks about, way to do it. And I've done everything exactly the way she says to do it. And my ads are not quite, and I found that things that work for her don't work quite the same for me. And I don't know whether it's just the genre or the tropes or how those sorts of things. I mean, they're both very, very smart people, Mark and Skye. And there's definitely things that I've taken and have worked from both of them, but I have amalgamated them and made them work a slightly different way for me. So I think, unfortunately, like anything, the Facebook ads are something where you just have to get in there, give it a go, and then iterate, look at what's not working, make little changes, and it's not a fast process. And
do you find that it's better though, Turtles, when you do something and then go back and learn about it too, because you can see more of an understanding about it? That's what I've found.
I felt like
any sense.
I just remember first going into Facebook ads, the background thing, and just being really overwhelmed by everything, and just going, how that, what do I do? And I think when you first start, you just have to put up an ad, and it's not going to be the best ad, and it's not going to get you the best conversions or whatever, but it's just an ad to get you started because you're learning about it. And then you figure out how to put the images in, and then you figure out where the header should go, and you try some different headers, and then you try some different text, and whether it's a long excerpt or a short excerpt, or whether it's a hooky one-liner, or do you put the Amazon link at the top, or do you put it at the bottom, and do you include the button, do you not include the button, do you put the picture of your cover in your image, or do you not, all those things. And there's different people that will tell you different, Mark swears, he says not to put the cover in, or where did I hear that? Somewhere I heard from don't put the cover in ever, and then another place it's like, oh no, you have to put the cover in because it's the only way to get amazing conversion, you know, like, so there's so many different stories, and so all you can do as an author is go and try it out for yourself. Have two different ads, same ad set, different things, one has a cover on it, one doesn't, and just try it out, and Facebook will tell you. That's, you know, Facebook knows
you
all.
have to get in and play around, right? You just have to do it. You have to just get in there.
That's it. I think that's, as much as we would love to give you the silver bullet or the magic wand or whatever it is, there actually isn't. There is no substitute for you yourself. And I say this because, to be honest, the dream of just paying somebody to do it is 9,999,999 times out of whatever the other figure is not going to work for you, because for the simple fact is that books, even if it's a box set, are a low priced item, and it's very hard to make any kind of
you've got to
return
pay
on
them.
And you've got to pay them, and
Pay
any
them a lot.
ad agency is gonna, or any ad agency are gonna want a base fee. So we're talking like 5 figures at least before you've even started. Then they're gonna want a budget to test on. Nothing replaces you as an author to do this, and I would say you should be doing this as an author and not your assistant, because the knowledge is better within you, because if they learn it and take leave, that's no help to you and you're back at square one. Learn it first, then if you want to pay your college, you know, aged son or daughter or neighbors, whatever, but
second cousin,
nothing beats you having the knowledge, and I'm sorry, but that's just part of it.
And that is the word from Shah.
It is. And it's a nice dream to be able to just outsource it, but actually I think with the advertising, it's incredibly difficult to, until you're at a 7-8 figure a year author, it's not worth it.
I think you have to prove first.
You go share.
What's actually worked before somebody can take that on and say, okay, well, let's just try something, because you don't want them to be actually trying stuff. You want them to know what they're doing if you're going to be paying them all that money. But
the thing is, until they've tried, they don't know. That's it. I mean, I'm doing, you know, I know Wendy's ads intimately, if that doesn't sound too creepy, but me picking up any other contemporary author, I'd be back to square one, because it's a different story, it's a different book, even if it's the same subgenre. I still would need to be testing.
And you know, if it's not, so you know your books, you know the hooks, you know and I mean, maybe the place where someone else can help you is sitting down and brainstorming that kind of stuff with you, like figuring out the hooks, figuring out what kind of images to help with other ideas. But I still think you need to be the one kind of putting them all together. And that's
also why too, when I see a number of authors saying, you know, who are your targets? I mean, look, in general, it's particularly on Facebook ads, you know, the interest targets. So if you can target a particular author such as E.L. James or Kristen Hanna, you know, just because that target works for one author, again, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And there is no answer here. And I know it's difficult because we want to just better say, here's what you do. Boom, boom, boom. And
and it's moving parts, right?
You've done a bit of analysing on your ads?
Well, I was just going to say, I just had, so I've just put book 1 up of a new series, and I was like, oh, fantastic, I'm going to be able to advertise another series. And I've kind of realised that it's really hard to advertise just one book, because it doesn't go anywhere.
All over again.
It's what we've always said, right?
Yes. So I think, and I'm, you know, I've got 4 books in my Dragon series, and that does really well on Facebook ads because I've got the read through. You know, you get you can see the person buying one book and then they buy the other one. So it's just really hard. You know, one book doesn't get you an awful lot on Facebook. It's just really, really hard. And so if your aim is to get eyes on your books, get a bit of thing out there, and know that you're probably not going to make money on it, then that's one thing. But if you're doing the Facebook ads to try and make money on just one book, it's really, really hard. So that was my one thing. The other thing I wanted to say was that you need patience, and you need to take baby steps, because these are 2 things that do not come naturally to me.
No, doesn't resonate.
They don't really resonate with me. I want to do it all right now. So I'm constantly having to say to myself, just calm down. So and Skywarren talks about doing 15 minutes a day, and I actually think that's quite good. Like just go in, have a look, see where they're at, and then if you want to make changes, like if they're not, after a few days, like 4 or 5 days, they're not doing what you want, look at the ads and figure out, so you know which one's working best, and look at what you could change. One thing about those ads, like don't change everything, just change one little thing. And
would you duplicate that one ad and then, or would you make the change to that ad?
They do say that once you make a change to an ad, it doesn't work as well. And I have to say, I've found
this is Facebook, just clarifying.
Yeah.
We're talking about Facebook.
Yeah, sorry, Facebook ads. Yeah. So I mean, I mean, you could test it for yourself, because I'm not the guru of all things knowledge, but I would normally try and make a new ad, just based on what everyone seems to say. And just try and so what you can do in an ad set, for example, is you can keep it to the same budget and you just add another ad in there, and then you're competing those two ads, and so you keep everything the same but you change the image, or you keep everything the same but you change the button, or something like that. And just see. I mean, and when you set up an ad for the first time, you can set them up with say 6 different images and keep everything the same, and that's probably the best thing to do. Like, don't go in and assume you've got the one perfect image. And that is another big thing for me. It's like, don't spend too much time on the images, because honest to God, some of the images that win the most popularity contest on Facebook are not the ones you think are the best ads, are the images.
Exactly.
It's quite bizarre.
Like some nasty little images can be the ones that, and all it is about getting people's attention, right? Like, it's not about showing off how beautiful your ad is. It's like, you want the clicks. So you just have to be a little bit practical about that, and not kind of, it's like the covers that we were just talking about before. It's like, this is marketing. This is about determining what your readers are most likely to click on and most likely to be intrigued by about your ad. So just remember all those kinds of things. I would say set a budget, make a plan, check every day, and not for too long. That's my kind
Don't be obsessive.
Good thing. I would add to that plan, if you're doing Amazon ads to start off with, set them up and then walk away for at least 3 to 5 days if you can bear it. So don't put any budget on there. Like, keep it as low as possible, like $5 a day, so you can afford to literally throw $25 away. But by looking at it too early, you're going to start spinning out, and they need time to bed in for that machine learning.
So this is Amazon ads. I would say don't walk away for 5 days on a Facebook ad.
Oh, no, 3 days. 2 days.
So like, keep an eye on it, but don't make changes until you've given at least 3 days.
Here's the trick. Facebook is going to spend your $5 no matter where, even if it's to some like Bengal cats in the deepest, darkest jungle. They're going to find that ad to serve.
Who could read them?
Well, who could read them, because they're reading cats. But
don't be an animalist.
No, but Amazon is the opposite. It's actually quite hard to get it to spend money initially, particularly. So it can be very frustrating.
Although for the very first time ever, and I have been doing, I know, right? I've been doing Facebook ads for a long time. I had an ad that would just refuse to serve. I've seen other people do it.
Wow.
Have had it. Like, I've been in the ads intensive thing for Skywarren, and people putting up these posts saying, why won't this serve? And I had this ad, and it was a duplicate of something else. But I think it was just competing against an ad that would, a long-standing ad in an ad set that had just been, the other ads was just too well embedded, and Facebook was like, nah, not going near this one. And they just keep serving the other one. So it was just really interesting to me. That was just, So I assume maybe there's some other reason for that, but it just never started serving. So that was really interesting. And the other thing I wanted to mention before we disappear is don't forget, it's not just about the ads. Don't forget about your Amazon page. Don't forget to iterate or to look at the Amazon page there. And that includes the cover of your book, but also the blurb. And also make sure that they match, because you might have this Facebook ad that is going so well and it's got the people are clicking on it, and then you're not getting any sales. And you're kind of like, well, what's the story? Well, Facebook ads don't work. Well, actually, what it probably is that you're doing something in your Facebook ad that's not matching your Amazon. So they're clicking through your ad, they're getting to Amazon page, and they're going, oh, this is not the book that I thought it was.
No.
Because there's something different.
Little bunnies, romping around in a meadow, and then go there and have a naked chest, it's
or something. So you've got to make sure that, and either that's changing your Amazon page or changing your ads, because you have to, your ad has to reflect what they're getting. And if the ad reflects what they're getting over here, and you're not getting anyone clicking on your ad, then maybe there's something wrong with the blurb, and like maybe you're not angling it in the right way. So Facebook can be a fantastic way to get market research, to figure out what sells, to figure out which thing people prefer. Like I've seen authors doing variations of the same cover but with different colored dress on their character, and they will get like, the difference between a red and a green dress is so massive, and it seems such a little thing to us, but it's not to the like these things that connect to the reader's mind for whatever reason that we just don't know. So just make sure that you are paying attention to those kinds of things as well. As it was saying, don't assume that the Facebook ads are bung because it's not creating sales. Look at everything, and also change little things.
Got a question.
Sorry, yes, yeah.
No, I don't have a question. I was actually going to go back to BookBub ads. The fact is that when you're starting out, you're probably going to be petrified to put too much money into anything. And I was just going to say that with BookBub ads, you can put in an amount and BookBub will actually email you when you're getting close to it. I think I did mention it before. So you know how your money's being spent and how long it takes. And I would bear that in mind if you're just starting out and you just want to put your foot in the water. I think you don't have to put $20 on. You could put $10 on. You could put $5 on. But I think probably $10 is a good amount to start, and then not have so many days. And also, when you're doing, you can have a cost per click, or you can have a cost per, what is it? However many thousand
CPM.
CPM. Yep. And if you put that high, very high, which will be $12 is actually quite high. It doesn't matter if you go quite high. It sounds quite scary, but you never ever spend that amount.
No.
So, but it will. You're actually bidding to show those ads. So if you go high, you'll have more chance of it being accepted. So.
Okay, good to know.
David Cochrane's books are very good on that.
They are. So we've got, I know this is kind of self-promotion here, but we have pretty much interviewed everybody that's out there in terms of the advertising space. We've interviewed David Goffin, Maria Lewis, Sky Warren, Carlin from BookBub, Mark Dawson, you name it, we've got it. So go into, I will list some of these in the show notes. If you, as an incentive to go to our website and to click on those show notes, if Wendy gives me permission, I will put a collage of her former covers, for her original covers for Lake Howling, and then her recovers, and you can see the difference as well. And an example.
I don't know why anyone would want to see them, but go for it.
I think it's always good learning from example, and also just her, probably just the first blurb of her first book. Sorry, the blurb of her first book, the old version and the new version, and you will see that they will appeal to a different audience, even though it's the same story. But yeah, I would say we've had a few questions lately on our Facebook page, like where do you start learning about advertising? I guess my first thing would be go to the source of the advertisers. So Amazon actually have some pretty good guides on how to actually set up Amazon ads, as do BookBub. BookBub have got a really BookBub have got how-tos. Facebook,
so do Facebook. They've got them.
They do. I mean, got a lot of info.
So don't disregard going to the source because it's in their interests to make it work and to want you to go back. You don't have to spend thousands on courses. Although what spending money on courses does is it saves you time. It's kind of like you're buying time because it condenses the information down in a way that can go through.
Don't be like me and buy lots and lots of courses and think that you're somehow by osmosis going to take them in and not actually do the courses.
Isn't that the age-old thing though? They say that something like only 10% of people that actually buy a course actually complete a course. And there's some really good books out there as well. Again, we've talked about David Goffin's books, but there's Help My Facebook Ads Suck by Mel Cooper, and there is an Amazon Ads book by Deb Potter, who's a fellow New Zealand writer as well. There's quite a few that, so you can actually learn this for not a lot. as we've said before, though, there's still a cost with time as well as a bit of learning investment.
As with anything. So
Cool.
Awesome. So I think
right.
that's about a good place to end for another episode of the Spa Girls podcast. We can be found where, Shah?
Well, we've got all the secret knowledge at spargirlspodcast.com. Come and visit us there.
Nice. See what you did.
Yeah, like that?
Yeah, very good.
Super secret. You will miss out if you do not.
You will miss out.
For a limited time only, we will have that information there.
Yeah, and then come over to Facebook and tell us what you think of Wendy's new covers, and also what advertising is working for you.
Yeah,
cool.
I'd be interested to see what people thought of the covers and the blurbs, and see if they thought they were better or worse. They're selling better, just saying.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Spa Girls podcast. We'll be back again here next week.
Bye bye.
See ya. Keep well. Bye.